not talked about yet one thing that we have not talked about yet is we have not spoken about the self-help books that I have read during 90 Days Getting Wright and during 75 Hard. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick little synopsis, little run through on each of the books. And we can just kind of like dive in a little bit on what I thought about them, what I read them again, what I recommend them, just a little review action. Okay, so let's go back to 75 Hard. I started 75 Hard reading The Four Agreements. Maybe I should also find who wrote these books as well. Give me just a second. Okay, and back to it. So, the first book that I read was The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. I'll put like a picture of the book here. This book, I would probably rate it a 7 out of 10. It was a very matter-of-fact book. It didn't give very much explanation, but also didn't require very much explanation. It was just like basic sentences that you either get it or you don't. And I feel like maybe it resonated a little bit more because I've already been in therapy and already been kind of unlearning certain things that it touches on, but I don't know. Ask somebody else. I think it could easily go over a lot of audiences' heads. A lot of people could probably miss the messages in the Four Agreements. I think it's a good book for understanding where to start in your healing journey. Like, it's almost like if you don't understand it, you probably have some work to do. If you do understand it, it can still show you that you have some work to do, you know? It was a great foundational set of guiding principles, guidelines to follow throughout your life. Definitely would be helpful to have a visual reminder of the agreements like that are outlined in the book, and that's just personally for me. The second book I read was How to Be the Love You Seek by Dr. Nicole Lepera. That book I rated an 8.5 out of 10. 8.5. Dr. Nicole Lepera is somebody that I follow on Instagram, the holistic psychologist, and I was very interested in her post, and her post would resonate a lot with me. So when she said that she was coming out with a book, I was like, let me go ahead and let's dabble. Okay. So I really enjoyed this book. Many of the stories and emotions that were expressed really resonated. They were very relatable. Like that she lays them out very well in a way that you can receive. It's digestible. I felt the book was a much easier read and explained psychological concepts in a way that is digestible for the average reader versus like you need a psychology degree to get it. And I appreciate that, making education accessible to all people. I think this book is a good way to start on like your love journey and like your love path, and that kind of becomes a theme later on in my journey of books. So yeah, moving on. My third book was The Courage to Be Disliked by Fumitake Koga and Ichiro Kishimi. This book, I have to give it a 5 out of 10. And it's not because the message wasn't good, but it's because they use so many words to get to the message. And that's partly because of how the narration was written. Like, how not even the narration, like the whole layout of the book, the whole premise of the book is basically this very long, drawn out conversation between this wise man and this young man. And the young man would just ask really stupid questions. In my opinion, okay, like the wise man would like say some wise stuff, and then the young man would just ask something that isn't thoughtful, in my opinion, like that I didn't find to be very thoughtful. So it's like you can only give but such great answers to not thoughtful questions. Ask somebody else, maybe they felt differently. The voice of the young man felt more antagonistic and like devil's advocate than presenting like thoughtful and critical, thought out questions. The next book I read was Rethinking Your Life. This is a good book. I don't know who it's by, but I'll put it right there. Anyways, love this book. 10 out of 10 would recommend it for anybody, everybody. If you don't go to therapy, it'll tell you whether you need to go to therapy. Just see if it resonates, truly. I actually have been out here recommending this book to everybody. Sorry. This book is filled with, this book is written by therapists, and it is filled with stories that the average person can understand and possibly can relate to. It's written by therapists who focus on life traps specifically and treating people's life traps, and it breaks them down in depth while explaining how they can intertwine with each other and how, like, the layers that come with having life traps. I think everyone has something to gain from this book. It can teach you how to cope with your own trauma, your own experiences, but also making you aware of like where they come from, who's causing it in your life, how to see the signs in somebody. That way you have the resources and the resources and the understanding to deal with the people causing it. That way you're not stuck in this everlasting loop of pain and trauma. I think that is something that anybody could use, personally. The next book I read was a perfect connection, was All About Love by Bell Hooks. She ate 10 out of 10. This is another book that I've been recommending nonstop. Again, my apologies. I'm sorry. I know it's a bit much. I'm just trying to advocate for love. Anyways, reading this directly after Rethinking Your Life was the perfect segue. These books align perfectly, and Bell Hooks is just an amazing author, so why not, you know? Her writing was so digestible and resonated very heavily. A timeless read, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like she dropped this book like yesterday, you know? So based on the time that it was released to how current it was, like in the weeks that I was reading it, how life was actively aligning with the book was crazy. Absolutely insane. It was very culturally relevant and provided me with so many tools and resources that can shift my life's path to something that is rooted in love versus just like, oh, like I'm going for the money, like, oh, I'm going for the fun, I'm going for like living la vida. Like, no, like everything at the root of everything that I do, I want love to be at the center. I want love to be the foundation. And this book kind of gave me the keys to make that happen for myself, which I appreciate. So that's in career, in love, in relationships, in all the realms that I'm engaging with other people. Love is there. A little sprinkle, sprinkle. I truly would recommend this book to anyone and everyone, and believe that it should be required reading in all schools. Public, private, elementary, college, adulthood, adult school, parent school. Lock it. Anyways, the book that I'm currently reading is called Non-Obvious Thinking: How to See What Others Miss by Rohit Bhargava and Ben Dupont. So far, I'm enjoying this book. I had the privilege of meeting the author and speaking with the author when I purchased this book at a networking event. Go figure. I think based on the ideas that Bell Hooks got churning in my head, this book is the perfect self-help book to then help me put it into action. Like, take my learnings and make something shake with it, versus it just being like, oh, I'm gonna sit with this and process it. Like, I can process it into real life stuff. I don't know how else to explain it. But capitalize on the momentum a little bit, especially everything that I've been dealing with, like the job market and like trying to like reforge my path, basically. I feel like this is the perfect book for me to do that and like get more into a creative mindset that I've been out of for some time. This book is almost done, so let's get into a few of the next books, like the books that are on my list going forward. As I may have said in a previous video, I'm very passionate about sustainable travel, so I do intend to read Beyond Guilt Trips. I'll put it there. This book is not self-help, but it's come highly recommended, so I might just include it just because it seems like there's a lot of good messages in there. But The Alchemist. I was supposed to read The Alchemist in middle school and didn't. I've had plenty of years where The Alchemist has been collecting dust in my home and have not touched it, so maybe we'll give it a shot. And lastly, The Body Keeps the Score. This book came highly recommended to me by a previous therapist who recommended it because this book focuses on like how trauma is very heavily connected to your nervous system and the ways that you can heal trauma that is manifesting physically. So yeah, a few themes, a few little motifs in my book choices, but all of them are very aligned and very geared towards my overall goals for this year. And so I'm looking forward to finishing my current book, looking forward to reading my future books, and I'm really grateful that I had the opportunity to read my past books. So yeah, I'm looking forward to learning, growing, and leaping some mo. Bye.